Ariano,
Here.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval.
Here.
Ms. Cindy Lopez and Mr. Neil Patel are not present this evening.
Okay, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item 1.3 is approval of the board agenda. If I can please get a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Ms. Turner,
Aye.
Ms. Ariano,
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Okay, today on closed session, we have items 2.1, potential litigation under Government Code Section 54956.8 and 54956.9. We also have item 2.2, public employee appointment / employment dismissal under Government Code Section 54957. We also have item 2.3, public employee performance evaluation under Government Code Section 54957. Do you have any public comments regarding closed session items?
We do not.
Okay, can I please get a motion to adjourn to closed session?
Motion to adjourn to close session?
Second.
Ms. Turner,
Aye.
Ms. Ariano,
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Okay, we'll see everybody afterwards.
First call. Can you pass this out to, pass that to?
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. We're going to reconvene back into open session for the Santa Rita Union School District. During closed session, the board took the following actions. 2.2.1, we approve the appointment of Becky as Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services effective July 1st, 2024. Upon hiring a Director / Chief Officer of Human Resources, whichever is first, the vote was 3-0. We approve the appointment of Donna Koning as the principal of the Santa Rita Elementary School effective July 1st, 2024. The vote was 3-0. And 2.2.3, we approve the probationary release of a classified employee number 160860 effective March 8th, 2024. The vote was 3-0. And do you guys want to say any words, either one of you?
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. I feel very passionate about students and learning. And I'm excited to continue working with the team here, but with that focus in mind. So thank you.
I just, in regards to Becky, I know you're going to do fabulously at your new job, but I do just want to thank you, for everything that you've done and continue to do in human resources. It's a really hard job. And, I did feel also that the previous human resources director should have moved us forward from where we were, and you've continued that. So it's just, it's been a goal of all of ours to, treat people fairly and equitably. And I'm really grateful. And Don, I'm super excited about your new position.
Congratulations, Becky. I'm so excited for you. Thank you, everybody. I am ecstatic. I'm very excited. I've said this so many times to so many people in the last few years. I love Santa Rita. I love Santa Rita District. Santa Rita Elementary and Gavilan View are just passions to my heart, and working with those families again and those students and seeing where Santa Rita is now, and then going in to make the roots blossom and help grow those roots, and what's working now, what we can, sustain, and what do we need to blossom even further, and what do we need to maybe change a little bit or tweak, and just, I'm going to say the word, Melissa's not here right now, but raise the bar at Santa Rita. And Miss Casillas works there with me, and she worked with me at Gavilan View. So it's nice to have her here tonight. Again, I'm so excited. My mind is going crazy with ideas. And then I'll be able to work with Becky on a different level. And I love working with Becky in summer, and just so I'm speechless because I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is just a really exciting time, and taking those kiddos and our teachers and our parents and our families and working with our Mixteco community. That's been a pleasure this year, and just making that go further next year, and really bringing that fruition up so Santa Rita moves their bar up too.
Perfect. I just want to say congratulations to both of you, and I'm super excited you're going to be at Santa Rita as well. Right now you were talking, I was just remembering as a kid just walking this, because I went to Santa Rita school myself, so just kind of walking down Swanner and going to school and stuff. So I know that's a really important place. All our schools are important, but I know it's always a high impact school. So I'm glad you're there. So thank you. Okay. Congratulations as well. Okay, we're going to move on to item 5.1, which is approval consent agenda items 5.2 to 5.4. Can I please get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay, motion carries. Okay, 6.1, any comments from SRTA? Any,
No, there are no comments from SRTA.
CSEA?
Good evening, everyone. I don't have much to say tonight, but I do want to thank Becky Moore, Rosa Zamudio, and Debbie Campbell. CSEA met with them this past Tuesday for ERC. And as always, we like that communication that we have between the district and CSEA. Great collaboration. And for that, we want to go ahead and thank you. And I want to take the opportunity also to congratulate Miss Donna Koenig for our principal as of July. And as well, you too, Becky, congratulations for your new roles. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Superintendent's Cabinet, we'll start off with Director of MOTF, Mr. Victor Sandoval. He's out? Oh. Okay. Chief Business Officer, Ms. Rosa Zamudio.
That would be me. So we've been really busy this last weeks, always busy. Specifically this last couple of weeks, we've been working very close with Monterey County Office of Education on the approved new salary schedules with the 6% included. So we're working very hard and close with them to make sure that everything gets put in the system. I know there's some questions about when they're going to get their retro pay and the new salary to be effective. So we're still working that out. I did send out an email to all certificated because that was the one that got approved first by the board. And hopefully we're hoping and we're testing right now that the new salary gets reflected by the end of March. So meaning March 1st through the end of March, they'll have their new paycheck with their new rates, including the 6%. And then there is the retro pay, which is starting July 1st, 2023, all the way through the end of February. And that one should also be in a separate check by the end of March. So we're still working that out. Unless something crazy comes out, then we would have to probably extend it by April. But so far, we have it on the schedule by the end of March. And as soon as the testing is done, I'll be sending out an email saying everything got approved, everything's done, and this is the date that you're gonna get your salary increase and your retro pay. So that's been fun. I think that's all I have as an update. I have the AB 1200s for you to review and approve, so I'll talk about that.
Okay, Sarah?
And I just want to make a comment and a thank you. Earlier in my career, I was the business manager at Hartnell in charge of payroll. So I absolutely know what it's like to run a retro, and there's nothing fun about it. So thank you for all of your hard work.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the update. Director of Special Education and Student Services, Ms. Melanie Grundy.
I'm here online tonight. Hi, everybody. I actually have
We can't hear you.
a better view. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Everything looks correct.
It's on our side. Just a minute because we can't hear you. Do you need to change your microphone on your end, Melanie? Can you check?
It's correct.
It's the right one.
Can you hear me now?
No. Is it turned up? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like she should come through.
We like to keep you guessing.
Yeah.
I know.
Who else is online? Maybe we can try it out and see if there is
There we go.
There, we can.
Starting to.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hey, okay, perfect. You gotta love technology. Well, I can actually see you all really well. So good evening, everyone. I'm excited to report I'm up at the CASHA Speech and Language Pathologist Conference, where we've had the opportunity to bring 2 of our in-house SLPs that will be attending the conference, as well as helping us recruit SLPs at the table. So very optimistic about all of the SLPs that we're going to meet, and it's up in San Francisco, so it's pretty close. So Really looking forward to the next few days. We also, just the other item I'll report is we did have an all special education training, professional development. Last week, we were able to focus on, we did a bring your best. So all special education teachers and service providers got to bring either a lesson, an activity, or a strategy that they were using, have been using in their classroom, and get to share out and kind of get feedback. So that was fun. And then we also just talked about state testing that's coming up, and accommodations and new regulations to students taking the CAW, as well as upcoming transition meetings. So it was a really good 2-hour collaboration amongst the team. So yeah, that's all for me tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, thank you for the update. Director of Engagement and School Climate, Dr. Summer Prather Smith.
Good evening. I just want to start with a couple of thank yous. I first want to thank Mr. Dibble, who is here from Gavilan View Middle School. Every day, Mr. Dibble has last period prep, and he goes to the park at Santa Rita and stays at the park during dismissal and says goodbye to students and greets students, and the students look for him there. And he's been a really important figure in our safety here as a district, and that's above and beyond. And we're really, really grateful for him. So thank you so much, Mr. Dibble, for doing that.
Park is that?
The Santa Rita Park right here, down Canberrian.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, Santa Rita Park. He's there every single day. You'll see him. The kids, everybody looks and they're waving, and he stands at the park. And I pass him in my afternoon drop-off route as well. But it's made a great impact for our students to know that there's a caring adult there each and every day. So
Did you teach?
he teaches math here at Gavilan View.
Okay.
And he volunteered because he has that last period prep that he could leave a couple minutes early and head down there, and waits till all students have kind of been gone home. So
Thank you.
thank you to him. I also want to thank Mr. Obas, who's from New Republic, Mr. Bedon from Santa Rita, and Mr. Zimmerman, who's here at Gavilan View, who all volunteered their entire Saturday this Saturday to be judges at the Migrant Education Speech and Debate Tournament. And Adriana's not there, but she did also do it. Sorry, Adriana, I forgot you. No, HR. Volunteered their days to be, I think of her as migrant still, so it's hard. She comes from Oren. To volunteer to be there. And I had the privilege, that's the part of my migrant life that's never going to go away. So I've been able to support them the last several months in getting ready for the regional tournament. And this year, Region 16 will be hosting the state migrant speech and debate tournament in May. They do need more judges. So anybody who's interested, we'll be holding a couple of training for those judges. It'll be held at Monterey High. And that's migrant students from all over California that come together for that weekend. It's the Cinco de Mayo weekend as well. But again, thank you to our team who really stepped up to help in those roles. Without people volunteering to judge, the tournament wouldn't happen. So thank you to that staff as well. We have our last Saturday Academy of Session 3. I can't believe we're already done with Session 3 coming up, and we've had higher enrollment than ever, high numbers of students. Thank you to the JGMS team who really did targeted outreach and support for those middle school students who maybe were at risk of not doing so great this term and getting them there. So we've had a lot of middle schoolers there for this last term. We are going to be having a family STEM connected to that. So Friday evening, I've been sending out the flyers. There'll be a family STEM event at La Jolla and JGMS. And then on Saturday, after Saturday Academy finishes, there'll be a family STEM event there along with a taco truck. So on Saturday, and that will be with STEM Center USA, who'll be coming from LA. We've used their online program for many years. They're going to be coming to do that as well. And then our final session of Saturday Academy, Session 4, will begin on April 27th. And then that'll run 4 weeks through the 18th of May as well. And I think that's all I have to share. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, lots of exciting things coming up. Thank you. Any questions or comments? No? Okay, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resource, Ms. Becky Moore.
Thank you. So it is peak recruitment time, and I want to thank the HR staff and our administration, our SLPs who are at the conference who are going to help recruit during their breaks, for going out to the recruitment fairs and looking for top quality teachers for our school district. So as Melanie said, she's there now. And Daisy and I will be heading to Mexico City next week to to recruit a teacher from the visiting program to be at Santa Rita next year. So we're excited about that as well. I've been spending a lot of time with Summer working on LCAP planning. We attended a session on Friday at the county office to learn about all of the changes that are coming with this new plan. And it's more than we originally thought, but we're working through the process together. And I keep telling her it's going to be fine.
Type A, it's our.
Also have been attending the PD sessions for the LCR set, which is the literacy coaching grant that we have for Santa Rita. So Donna, Hillary, and Patricia from Santa Rita have been doing those with me. Those are online and have been we've been learning a lot and putting together notes and plans that all of that will help lead up to us developing our plan for that grant money. And finally, working with the coaches and cabinet on our professional development day plan, because we have our PD day coming up on April 2nd. I think we have a really good agenda meeting the needs of what the teachers have requested. And so I'm really excited about that day. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. In the trainings you've gone to for the LCAP, what are some of the changes that you've been in a quick, I guess, a couple of points that you're noticing, either that impacts either engagement or the way the things are tied together in the budget? Or
it's about the number of goals and actions that we will be required to have. We will continue to have the broad goals that we've had before, especially, aligning to those basic things that we need to guarantee within the school district, but we also need to have individual goals for specific schools, for specific subgroups. We need to tie our goals and actions to the 8 state priorities. The metrics need to be more detailed and more specific than they've been in the past. We were sitting there with some of our colleagues from the other districts, and in one of the larger districts, the rep who was there said, so essentially I'm going to be writing like a 1,300 page document. And we said, well, that means that ours will only be about 700. So I guess that's good. But as we're thinking through that, we're also thinking about how do we still make it user friendly, because we want the information to be accessible. So we'll probably be looking at different ways we might either work with a contractor or through DTS to do some summary pages, some briefs that we'll be able to use at the end of this process to share the work that we've done, because a really long, cumbersome document is going to be hard for many people to access if they're not coming from a place where they know all of the academic vocabulary that goes into those around the world of education.
And I just wanted to add, I think where we're really ahead is, again, if you think about the purpose of the LCAP, the purpose of the LCAP is equity. It's really about designating funding so that students who need more get more, right? And so Becky and I have done a lot of time really looking at the data and looking at our students to make sure that happens. But the other way that we're really ahead is with our community partners, whereas some of our partner districts kind of came into that meeting with some fear around working with those community partners and the advocacy they bring to the table. We're really blessed to be held as examples by those groups. And so that's really helped us to come into the process. I mean, we entered it from an equity mindset to begin with, which is its purpose. So instead of kind of pushing back on that, we've really embraced it. And so, again, it's been really great work with our partners as we've gone into this ahead of time to say, like, some schools and some students need more. And so it's going to look different than what it has, even more so than before. And I feel like we're really, as we've been working with our administrators during our LCAP planning session, everybody's been very open to that and they understand it and they're welcoming those transitions.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking, I think what happens with government sometimes, it's good they're doing this. I mean, our district was ahead of the curve, but I've read LCAPs for other school districts, and then you read it and it's like, oh my goodness, they're doing this amazing thing on paper. But then when you see the school site, it doesn't correlate. So then I'm thinking, okay, well, the state's like, okay, well, a good portion of you are not doing it. So now we have to do the extreme. And I do appreciate within our district where you're right, there's a lot of community partners. We've had conversations where other school districts are kind of like, you guys are outside of the school site. So instead of just bringing them in, because then there's more conflict that kind of arises there. So
And that's even going to start with the, coming up on April 3rd. We'll be meeting with our West Ed partners who've been doing our data use peer network meetings, but we have our in-person event. And we invited Centro to be there. We invited Building Healthy Communities to be there. We want them to be part of the team as we're looking at that data from the beginning, because we're going to be, the focus of that day will be on our California Healthy Kids survey results. And they're going to take us through that process. And, you know, part of what we talked about in the anti-bias work that I do in the training that I just attended is we don't know about our own bias until somebody calls us out, right? Implicit bias is not, we don't recognize it. It's implicit within us. And so what's really helpful is to be able to have a team sit together who can say, you're maybe not intentionally not seeing this, but you're missing it. And that work is really exciting to me. That 700 pages is my type A, gets me a little nervous, but the equity piece of what LCAP can bring to a school district, I think is really important. And I value that process.
yeah, and I appreciate that, because I know when I first started on the board, on the boards that I kind of see, it is challenging to tell educational professional you're being biased, or you're doing this, or you're doing that, because in a way it's like you're questioning who they are, although you're not questioning their intentions, is just without understanding the consequences of their actions, because obviously they don't know what's kind of going on. And when we had our Santa Rita meeting, and I know we had, you know, with the translation, and then I think somebody from Centro said, "Oh, I'm a lawyer," and I think I was thinking about, she's used to like confrontation, but I'm thinking if she would have came up to us and said, "Hey, can you guys next time do this?" We'd be like, "Sure," but I think most people are not used to having that type of relationship, so the first thing they're used to is like the fight mode of like, you know, of whatever. And I've talked to people, because sometimes people will say like, well, I'm this hard because I'm always having to advocate and fight for something. And it's very weird to come into a space where you can have a conversation about kind of what's going on and stuff. So.
And we talked about, just really quickly, we talked about in our meeting as well, again, around this idea of confirmation bias, right? So we go into something kind of confirming what our own thoughts are. So that oftentimes happens in a lot of the work we do, where you go in with an assumption that something's going to be a certain way. And so you perceive what's happening around you in that way, because it confirms what you've thought. And so I think that as we form the LCAP and as we work with all the different groups that we need to engage with, it's going to be really important that we're having that work, that we're saying we are here to really hear your voice and to make changes. And, you know, so often somebody will come into a space just working to confirm what they thought. Like they just want me to sign the paper, or they just want to, you know, make it seem like something's happening. And you have to set an ego aside. It takes a lot. And again, we're blessed to have a leadership team that's willing to do that. And we're still going to face that. I mean, calling out concerns is uncomfortable, and, you know, we have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So.
Yeah, I had a great conversation with a colleague last week where we were discussing like a former coworker of ours who had made us crazy like 20 years ago, you know, because they were still doing like to us. We were like, maybe what you were doing worked 20 years ago, but not so much now. And then now we've moved into the age of being that person and thinking about, oh, am I now doing stuff that I was doing 20 years ago? It's not, you know, like appropriate anymore. And just, it's hard when you're not necessarily doing something intentionally wrong, but it's like, no, like there's 20 years of research or practice, like since then, you know, what's happening. So it's a really funny conversation when you're suddenly like, oh, I have so much more sympathy for that person than I did, you know, when I was the new teacher.
Yeah, I know, like one of the things you came in, Summer, especially last time, was we're talking about engagement and not just taking attendance, but actually engage. I mean, part of it too, I think it helps, you know, when you study, because I remember I've been in school sites where I say that statement, but because I don't have necessarily the degree or whatever the case comes with it, it's like, it's not as valid. So, and I always tell people, like, people's perspective of what something is standard is always changing and being innovative, you know, so.
And we actually talked about that at our MCOE because they were talking about metrics. And I said, like, for me, what's one of the areas that's really important is that sign-in sheets are not a metrics of anything. Like sign-in sheets only measure who showed up. They don't show that anything happened. And Michelle afterwards sent me a message and said, like, will you talk about that at the next time? Like, will you bring that forward? Because so often what we're looking for is something that's easy to show something, right? And a sign-in sheet is quick and it's easy. And, you know, especially in Becky moving into this new role, I think where we have such an opportunity as a district is to move past that, to say that's step one. We have to get people there. But what they do with what they learned there is where we need to get to have a long-term impact. And so for me, that's the exciting work of engagement. That's, that's my heart work. And so I think you're going to see a lot of that reflected in the metrics that we use in this new LCAP so that we can start to really measure real progress and make change if we're not, right? Because we don't want to superficially say, oh yeah, we're doing the work. Like you said, you see it and you're like, okay, but are you really doing it? We want to have metrics in place that assure that it's happening for our students. So yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? No? Okay. Thank you for the update. Moving on to the board, Ms. Sarah Turner,
Nothing to report.
Ms. Severiano.
Yes, I went, I joined Becky and Summer and Melissa for the School Climate Data Use Peer Network. So, and it was, although I didn't participate much, I listened more. But it was our last one. And so some of the topics were, they wanted us to articulate a hypothesis and develop a hypothesis. So we were put into groups. And so Summer pretty much guided us through filling out the work. And actually, I guess the end outcome is to find out how our data was serving us in our district and how we can improve in our district. So at the end, the one that I really thought was be a really good one would be the data equity walks. I don't think we do that in our district, but
we do it some. I've worked with BHC, Building Healthy Communities, around data equity and actual school equity walks overall. Our goal is to do more.
Yeah. So it was a good meeting. Like I said, Summer, I pretty much listened, and Becky gave some of her input on that too. And it was nice because this whole time that I've been, it's hard to believe it's at the end of the last day. But I think of all the districts that participated, we were the only ones that had a superintendent there, a board member there, and Becky. So it was awesome. I just thought that, having to represent Santa Rita and also to be there with Summer as she's good. She's good.
That's my passion.
She's just great. She just goes on and she just typed in that grid that we were given, and it was good. We learned a lot on how we can follow the data on our kiddos.
And that'll be our in-person on April 3rd.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Gotta write that one down. Yeah.
Well, thank you all for participating and representing us there as the board. Yeah, I don't have anything for myself to report. Public comment, is there any non-agenda items or agenda items? No. Okay, we're gonna move on to 9.1, which is approval of EB 1200s for the 2023-2024 negotiations.
Yes, so this is pretty much what kept me busy as well the last week. So every time we get into a salary agreement, we have to prepare a public disclosure or an AB 1200. In this case, we did all of them at the same time. So as you can see, we have 5 different public disclosures for all the units. And it's a lot of information. I do have a table that I left with you, so you can see a summary, 16 pages each. It's like 80 pages that you would have to review. So that gives you just a little summary. I think at the end of the day, what we want to know is what's the total cost district-wide and how much are we paying that it's ongoing and how much are we paying that it's one time. So I have that summarized for you. I prepare all of this. Right now, it's at the county office for review. We're going back and forward with questions because it is a lot of information. Because of this as well, I did ask for an extension for my second interim budget, which is usually due in March 15. So I asked for an additional week and they said yes. So so that's why I don't have the budget in this board meeting, but it's coming up on the next one. I'll be turning in that report to the county next week, and then we'll take it for the board approval on our next board meeting, and they were okay with it. So it's all the summary. Pretty much as a summary, the total cost is $4.2 million. We have about $2 million that it's ongoing and $2.1 million that is one time. As of this year, 23-24, we are okay. We are going to be deficit spending for sure. And I'm still working on the next budget revision because I wanted to make sure that all those increases, when I pull all fresh data with salaries and vacancies and all of that, that 6% is included in there. And since everything is already in the system, I was able to do that. I'm still balancing. I can tell you for sure there is going to be a deficit spend this year. We're not gonna touch the 17% reserves yet, but next year we do have to make changes, as previously mentioned, to be able to maintain that 17% reserve. And since this is an ongoing cost, we need to make changes and reductions going forward in the next years to be able to afford and have a balanced budget. And that pretty much summarizes. If you have any questions or comments.
One, thank you. And this is amazing work. And thank you to everybody that was involved in the negotiations. Do we have any ideas of what the May revise is actually going to look like?
So we haven't got any new, more accurate data until May. The last budget projection that I did for next year included a 0% COLA. Based on the latest information, it looks like it's going to be 0.76. So once I bring the budget for the first interim, that's what's going to reflect on the year out. Still, we're just waiting for May information, and we're hoping that it looks better, so that we don't have, if it looks better, we get more funding. We don't have to make those cuts. But if everything looks as how it is right now, we definitely have to make cuts to be able to have a more balanced budget.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think everybody at the state right now is going pretty much to the legislators, say, don't cut me, don't cut me, don't cut me. And so they're trying to balance out who they're going to cut, I think is kind of where a lot of it is. No, thank you for the breakdown. Kind of makes it an easier summary version. And then can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve 9.1.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed and no abstentions? Motion carries. Okay. Moving on to 9.2, approval of salary schedule increase and one-time schedule bonus for unrepresented. Actually, you know what? Before we move forward, congratulations to everybody who got a negotiation. Sorry. And then we. You know, sometimes I get asked, you know, why don't we pay teachers more? And I said, you know what, we need to unite as districts and go after the state, because at the end of the day, it's like the state's the one that restricts how much the school districts get in funding, you know. So, and I think a lot of collective bargaining units, you know, like if you look at are like prison guards, they're state organized. So they're one bargaining unit when they go to the state, versus us, it's like individual districts or whatever that kind of happens. So thank you. Okay, so moving on to 9.2. Approval of salary schedule increase and one-time off schedule bonus for unrepresented unit for 2023-2024.
Thank you. We approved most of the unrepresented unit increases last meeting. This one is for the classified licensed professionals, supervisors. It is in between classified and classified management and represents one member or one staff member in our district, our BCBA. And so it would mirror the CSEA agreement of a 6% increase across the salary schedule and a one-time off-schedule bonus of $4,000.
Motion to approve 9.2.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries. 9.3, approval of the 2024-2025 district calendar.
Thank you. As promised, I have finalized with collaboration with CSEA and SRTA, our cabinet and administration, the calendar for the 24-25 school year. I also networked with some of our neighboring districts to align. And so the major breaks, start and end date, just as we have in the last several years, are in alignment with the high school district.
Okay, great. Motion to approve.
Second.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I thought you were on motion. Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, it's okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Okay, motion carries. 9.4, approval of one full-time employee for expanded learning site lead at Santa Rita Elementary School.
Thank you. In addition to the ACES program that Santa Rita hosts, Summer and Madonna, who are overseeing our ELOP funding, would like to add additional ELOP offerings at that school site, which would necessitate a lead at that school site as well. So at the last meeting, we approved leads for the other 3 elementary sites, and this would be a 4th position for the district.
Motion to approve 9.4.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No abstentions, no oppositions. Motion carries. 9.4, approval of job description for teacher on special assignment, literacy coach.
Thank you. For our LCR set grant that will be completely for Santa Rita Elementary, we will be hiring a teacher on special assignment to serve as a literacy coach. The grant says we need to either have a literacy coach or a reading specialist. Because it's a short-term grant and we can't guarantee ongoing personnel, a coach is going to be more beneficial to the district because they will provide training to the teachers to continue in the improved literacy services after the grant expires.
What was the other one? You said
A reading specialist. So the
Got it.
difference is
Okay.
the coach works with
Coach.
teachers.
Okay.
The specialist would
And the
work with
grant-
students.
And the grant is for how many years?
It's for about 2 years and it's about $600,000, $640,000.
Motion to approve 9.5, approval of job description for teacher on special assignment literacy coach.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, no abstentions and oppositions. Motion carries. 9.6, approval of one full-time employee for teacher on special assignment, literacy coach at Santa Rita Elementary School.
And this is the approval of the position.
Motion to approve 9.6.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposition, no abstention. Motion carries. 9.7, approval of job description for Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services.
Thank you. Melissa reviewed the previous Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services job description and updated it since we had archived it when she moved into the superintendency. And so this will reflect current responsibilities for the position.
Motion to approve 9.7.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposition, no abstention. Motion carries. 9.8, approval of closure of positions for position control maintenance.
So each time that Rosa is working on one of the interims for the budget, she and Debbie share with me a list of current vacancies so that we can review them and maintain our position control. These 3 positions are vacant and are positions that we want to close off of the books.
And this position potentially would help us out a little bit with the budget, right? Closing these out
Correct.
because they were budgeted the first time around.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Motion to approve 9.8.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 No opposition or abstention. Okay, motion carries. Approval of one full-time employee director or chief officer of human resource.
Thank you. This is for one FTE for a director if they are certificated or classified chief officer of human resources if they are classified to replace my leadership position in the human resources office.
Thank you for clarifying. That was gonna be my first question. What
Mhm.
the difference would be.
Motion to approve 9.9.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. No abstentions, no opposition. Motion carries. 9.10, adoption of the University of Florida Literacy Institute supplemental materials.
As we discussed last meeting, and we had a brief presentation about the foundational supplemental adoption materials, this is one of those pieces, the UFLI phonics curriculum, excuse me. And so this is the quote for the adoption, and we would like to move forward in purchasing these materials.
My thanks to all the curriculum council and all the teachers that were instrumental in advocating for this. Motion to approve 9.10.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No abstentions, no opposition, motion carries. 9.11, adoption of Hagerty supplemental materials adoption. Thank you.
And thank you. This is the other piece of curriculum which does address more of the phonemic awareness that we spoke about last meeting for the adoption and purchase of materials.
So this will be district wide now?
These will both be elementary for TK through 5.
Okay, that's what question is. Okay.
Motion to approve 9.11.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, no abstentions, no opposition, motion carries. 9.12, approval of MOU between Oklahoma State University and Santa Rita Union School District for field clinical experiences.
We have a student who is pursuing education and needs to do some field work at a school. This student is attending classes through Oklahoma State University. So this agreement would allow that student to work within our district and hopefully grow our own.
So they're doing a school here and they're going to do their stuff here.
They must be doing an online program, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's one of my favorite things that people have the opportunity to,
Right.
Go to the program that works for them, but still stay where they are. So motion to approve 9.12.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, no opposition, no abstention, motion carries. 9.13, adoption of Teach Town curriculum.
Is Melanie still here?
I'm here. Can you guys
Okay.
hear? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Perfect. Well, this is the adoption of Teach Town curriculum. This is going to be curriculum that we're hoping to utilize in our Mod Severe classrooms. We have been kind of pulling different curriculum together since I got to this district. So I'm really excited for this curriculum to come in, for them to have some really solid training. The other piece to note is this is buying or purchasing both digital licenses as well as a set of actual books and a whole library of materials at different levels for our moderate severe students in SDC.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to approve 9.13.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No oppositions, no abstention, motion carries. 9.14, approval of individual service agreement with Bay School.
Perfect. So this contract is with Bay School. It's a school over in Santa Cruz. It is for one student that just needs more support than what we're able to provide. The student has been in the MCOE autism program, and then for the last 2 years has been within the therapeutic intervention program, or TIP. So we did make the referral back in November, have gone through a process with Bay School and MCOE, and they're welcoming, they went through the process and are welcoming the student later in April.
Yep.
So that's
Just
what the
quick
contract.
question.
Uh-huh.
How affected are those type of schools whenever there is like a referral? Like, is it ever situations where they don't have space when extra services are needed?
Yeah, I mean, different non-public schools have different criteria for students that, right, they're going to be able to serve or not. So they're kind of looking at the whole student, right? They're looking at academic levels, cognitive levels, behaviors, right, that are exhibiting. There was a lot of pieces that really matched what the student needed and what the school could offer. That just those needs we aren't able to meet those needs in the county program at this time.
So they're kind of case by case, depending if it's the right fit for both sides, the student.
Yes, absolutely. We've made actually a couple referrals to the Bay School over the last couple years, and this has been our first that has been accepted, if you will.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for always advocating for the children. So motion to approve 9.14.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No abstentions, no opposition, motion carries. 9.15, approval of the purchase of AEDs, automated external wait, how do you say that? Defibrillators.
Yeah, so they're this is also my item. Right, they're the items we see kind of on the gyms and in around campus, right? So if there was an emergency, we would be able to meet that student's need. This is a contract. We currently have them at all of our school sites, but they are expiring at the end of April. So we've been working with our local agency to get new ones and provide additional training. So that's what this contract is for, is just to update and get new devices because ours are expiring.
Thank you. And yes, we can make sure to follow up with the training. I absolutely know that the machine walks you through what to do, but having the live training, I had mine about a year ago, I think is still really helpful. Motion to approve 9.15.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and no abstentions, in opposition, motion carries. 9.16, approval of purchase for 2 buses.
So as you can see, Victor has received 2 quotes and specs for buses that are needed for our transportation need, particularly around special education students.
Okay, and so it kind of mentioned that currently we're kind of renting more vans to
Yes.
kind of get around it. And has part of this should been just a shortage of buses potentially, and some came up, or?
Yes, this has been an ongoing issue of trying to acquire
Buses? Okay, okay.
And I'm also really excited because everybody should be able to be together. So having students who are in a wheelchair being able to ride the bus with,
Mhm.
with
Good
more
point.
kiddos, and it works for me on every level. So motion to approve 9.16.
I second that.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposition, no abstentions, motion carries. 10.1, next regular board meeting is April 10th, 2024. Any suggested future board items?
Not for the 10th, but just summer after we're done with our last summer academy, I'd love to have a recap. I've heard only fabulous things, but I'd like an official fabulous recap. So thank you.
We will do that.
And then for me, obviously not being rushed, but I know we were discussing at the meeting at Santa Rita, potentially expanding the amount of either tutors or teachers for the Mesteco program as far as that. So just kind of an update of.
Yeah, and we've been working with them right now. Our biggest challenge is space. So until we have
Okay.
additional space, so we're working on those pieces, but until some of our facilities stuff is able to come to fruition, we just don't have physical space to expand, especially because ACEs and ELOP are there as well. But we are working with them around that as well.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate that because
Yeah.
people ask me, then I kind of.
Yeah, it's just physical space.
Okay.
Remind me again, when is the community fair?
April 20th. And thank you, Esther Medina, who's doing a map for me.
Can I get a motion to adjourn at 6:50? Awesome.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice evening.